Okay, so I am so excited because our last call for 2015, we get to wrap it up with one of my favorite people, which is Toni Olson. I'm going to put her up here and see if I can pin her video up here. Toni, welcome to our call. Thank you so much for offering to be here. And um, I want to share a little bit about Toni, just from my heart. I love Toni, and Toni and Jeff are fellow national marketing director friends, are sideline buddies of our team, and I love that we get to do a lot of things together. And she's just an inspiration to me of what she's been able to do, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear from her because she has done this business while being a mom. And I know a lot of people use their kids as an excuse to not build their business. And she and Jeff have both built this business while, raising three beautiful daughters. And, it hasn't always been easy. So I know she's going to share that with you. Are you 75 Club? Is that right?
I was going to thank you for promoting me because I'm super close, but not quite there. But I was like, well,
either way, that is awesome. So she's got a boatload of qualifiers, which is awesome, which means she does very, very, very well here. And you guys also might recognize Toni as one of the beautiful, spokespeople that are on the videos. So, I think you do a great job. I think they used you mostly on the video that I was in. It was like Toni and more Toni. It was awesome. She did such a great job. So anyway, she's just a great example for all of us of what we can do and why we want to do it. So tell us, how'd you get started?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Reagan, because it is honestly a privilege. I just have so much respect for you and how you run your business and really the contribution you've made to the Juice Plus community. So thank you. And any way I can give back to you and your team, it's really my pleasure. So, and likewise for Richard, we love him too. It was funny because so I had to actually look because, as the years go by, you lose track of how long, like when I train, I'm like, oh, well, is it 15 years now? Is it 16 years? But I actually heard about Juice Plus for the very first time 17 years ago when my father-in-law was dealing with some major health challenges. And at that time, I was not open to it at all. And, but he asked Jeff and I to look at it for him, and we did. And it made total sense to Jeff. He was like, no brainer. And I was very much thinking we had it all figured out, to be honest. I was a little bit arrogant, and I thought, we eat super healthy. We don't take vitamins. So we did not get on Juice Plus. And about a year passed, and then Juice Plus came around again from someone else, a woman that he had ski raced with. And I tell you all that just because I think timing is huge in this business. And I always want, people to know that when someone says no, it's not necessarily never, it's just not now. And so when I heard about it a year later, this woman that Jeff had ski raced with, they were talking, old ski racer talking. She said, you know what, my knees aren't aching as chronically. And he said, what have you been doing? And she said, I've been taking Juice Plus for a year. I think it really helps. And of course he looks at me and says, oh, the stuff you won't let us take that my father's been taking. And so it was honestly in that moment that I just opened up my mind to say, hey, what if it could make some little difference? What if it could help his knees even a tiny bit? Would that be worth it? So I researched Juice Plus to death because that's how I am, and very skeptical. And I'm also very economical. So I decided, well, you know what? It makes sense after doing all the research. We'll go ahead and give it a try, and we might as well get it for the best price. So I had no intention of doing this business. At that time, Jeff worked in the corporate world. He traveled 70 to 80% of the time. And I had two kids under the age of 3. So my life was very busy, and I really didn't want to take anything else on. But this, I knew I'd told my mom about it, and my brother, and a handful of people. So that's how I became a distributor. And what happened was in the first couple of months, they said, well, if you fast track, then you can get a little bit more. And I thought, well, I know a lot of moms, if it comes up, I'll share it with them. And it was actually in my MOPS group. I was just naturally sharing Juice Plus. And I, in spite of myself, honestly, was able to fast track to virtual franchisee. And I started to really, feel like I could do this while I was living my life. So that was an easy thing. When I would go to lunch with a girlfriend, if I would go to a play date, if I was at the gym and Juice Plus came up, that, you know, it was an easy thing for me to share because I did think it made a lot of sense. And I do believe that there's nobody who doesn't, you know, could benefit from getting more fruits and vegetables into their diet. So that's how I very slowly came along. And then I got my first distributor. And so again, in spite of me, but she was exactly like me and said, oh, well, I want to get a little bit of a discount. And then I felt responsible to at least figure out what to tell her and to guide her. And so then I started to study the business a little bit more and really as little as I wanted. I could fit it in around my kids. And I honestly believe this business is amazing for anyone. You don't need any special education, any background. You have to be coachable. You have to be willing to learn a few simple things. But if you have a work ethic and that willingness to learn, anyone can be successful. But I think for moms in particular, it's incredible because you get to, you know, have your family be first and foremost and still get to fit this in around them and do something meaningful and get paid really nicely for it. So,
I mean, you know, sometimes people are like, well, you know, they have to go back to work or whatever. You weren't really worried about that at the time, or were you?
You know what? I had left my job after my second daughter was born. And so honestly,
tell us what you did first. Tell us what you did, because that was kind of a cool job.
I had a couple jobs. I had worked in international marketing and for the town of Park City, Utah. And so I traveled a lot for work. And I also worked for the U.S. Olympic Committee. That's where I met Jeff. But at that point in my life, when I started Juice Plus, we actually were Jeff was making very good money in his corporate job, but we had no quality of life. That was really the issue. Like, he was not around to see his kids very often. And I felt like a single parent a lot. And so it was just far from the ideal. And honestly, you know what? I ended up going to a conference about 9 months after I had signed up. And it was at that national conference that I saw the national marketing directors coming across the stage. When it really hit me, you know, I saw these couples who were designing their lives and living with freedom and flexibility and quality of life. And we did not have that. We were pretty well financially set, but we definitely didn't have quality of life. And I thought, you know, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up to be a single mom and be, you know, like stressed from not getting the help and that sort of thing. So, so I didn't so much think about having to go back to work as just like, where was our long-term, what was our family life going to look like?
Yeah. So were you also, though, then thinking you're getting a little small paycheck? I mean, it's still nice, but it's coming in every month. At virtual franchisee, you got your distributor. Were you liking that?
I absolutely loved it. Yeah, because I had given up, you know, after my second daughter, I'd given up my paycheck, which was a bummer. So yeah, when I had my name on that check coming back in, I did like that very much.
Yes. So then you started seeing a little, well, what if, right? I mean, that's kind of when you started exploring the business.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. And you know what? I honestly, those first, I'd say, couple years, I went to that national conference and it did change the direction of my business and my life entirely, because I got a vision of what was possible with this business that I had never seen before. And I really saw what a difference Juice Plus was making, the product in people's lives, when I went to that conference and I heard the stories of how it had impacted people's health. And I thought, wow, this is really making a difference. And that made me more passionate to share it with people. And the other big aha I had at the conference was the company. You know, I wasn't really willing to go out and put my credibility on the line with people outside my very small circle unless I believed that the company had integrity and was going to be there and do what they said they were going to do. And again, at that conference, I got that. I was like, wow, this company is the real deal. There's a huge opportunity here. And this product, you know, there's nothing else like it. So I did come out with a little bit greater vision of what I was going to do with it. And for the next couple years, I plugged away at it, again, very much part-time around my kids. I got pregnant with my third and went on to have her. And then my husband's company was getting bought out, and things were getting really, really ugly in the corporate world. And so we didn't know. And he was working on this big project that it was a startup he was working for at that time. And he would go to work sometimes from 7 in the morning until 11 at night. And he wasn't getting paid because he wasn't going to get paid till the deal closed on this particular deal. And as things went, the deal fell apart, and we never, nothing. It was almost a year he spent on this one project, and it never came to fruition. And so when we kind of saw these things starting to happen, I looked at him, and honestly, at that point, 3 years in, my paycheck was big enough to pay the mortgage, and more than pay the mortgage. And so we kind of looked at each other and we thought, you know what, should we go for it? Should we see if we could make this work? And what drove me was that benefits package. I was like, if I can get that NMD benefits package, then I'll have that peace of mind. And I knew that we could build that check up. So
for you, as a big safety net, a little bit of security, certainty.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
And you figured you might as well help out. You saw his stress and.
Yep. And I thought, if we can have a nice if something goes wrong over there, we've got this as a backup.
Yeah, at least you have your house, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So then you decided to you got your distributor, you got some other distributors going, and then where did it go from there?
From there, you know what? I hit senior sales coordinator, and I got super focused. I was like, I need to get it to NMD. And so he started to really support me. He talks about how he had to marinate in the company and the culture, because even though he wanted to get on Juice Plus from day one, he thought the business model was a joke. He was like, well, the boardroom, the corporate world, that's where it's at. Well, that started to deteriorate pretty quickly. And so he really jumped on board and started supporting me so much, and feeding me leads and going out and sharing Juice Plus and working with me. We each had our own roles, if you will, but he was really working with me. And so 5.5 years in, after a third baby and working part-time the entire time, I would say never more than 20, maybe 25 hours on a busy week. We got to national marketing director, and he left the corporate world, and this is all we've been doing, our only source of income for the last 10, almost 11 years now.
Yeah. So. And you guys, I love looking at your Facebook, because you guys are always off onto an adventure with your kids, which most people don't really get to do. So paint a little vision of some of the fun things you get to do because you guys both do Juice Plus.
Well, you know what?
National marketing too.
Yeah, and our oldest daughter is the distributor. So I am so incredibly grateful for this company and what this business has given us. And, we certainly haven't gotten the fastest, so we don't make the most money, but I would not trade the lifestyle that we have for anything in the world. I wouldn't trade my journey for anything. I have always been there for my kids. And, I have 3 amazing daughters, and we decided about 6 or 7 years ago that we would travel in the summer and take about 6 to 8 weeks of every summer to travel with them. And I can't even tell you the bonding that happened, mostly road trips we've done. And so that has just made us really close with our kids. We've been able to, volunteer for their sports and at the school and all their activities. And when my oldest daughter left for college this fall, she just went to California. My heart was breaking, and but I just was so grateful that I was there for everything. Like, I don't have a single regret looking back on the last, 16 years of her life, because this business has allowed us, both of us, to be there with our kids. And you know what, to have our kids see us set goals and achieve goals and kind of model that for them. And model for them that anything's possible. It's true.
Yeah.
Like, they can do whatever they want in their lives. And we've shown them that this business is an amazing way. And so our oldest daughter signed up. She fast tracked, and now she's a little distracted with college, as you know how that goes.
I know how that goes.
but yeah, the fact that, and the other huge piece for me is that their whole childhood, they have been in this conversation of health, just as a natural byproduct of me being a distributor. They are around the conversation of health. They're coming to health education events. They're hearing me talk about fruits and vegetables constantly. So I'm grateful for that, because, as they get older and you don't have that control over what's going in their mouth, you want, you want to at least believe that something sunk in,
Right.
all these years. So.
And it did. Your kids are amazingly healthy compared to most kids. They're kind of superstars in health. So gorgeous. So I know a lot of I know when people are starting, they kind of wonder, well, gosh, what do I do? That's the scary part, I think, is that here you're overwhelmed being a mom, you got your kids at home, but you may be dealing with, I might have to go back to work, I might not, but maybe start to make a little income. But how did you get started just sharing it and building it up? Kind of what were the activities that you did that if you could tell somebody just getting started, do this so that you can have this amazing lifestyle?
You know what I did? I recognized early on I didn't have a lot of time to carve out to do the business. But when I made the decision I was going to build the business, I decided I would be very intentional with the time I did have.
Yeah.
And, do the high payoff activities. I was talking to people. I was out meeting prospects or following up with prospects, taking care of my customers. I think that's one of the most important things we can do as distributors is take care of our customers. And I carved out a few, those stolen moments. If I knew my kids were napping, I was like, okay, I've got a half hour here, half hour there, few days a week. And honestly, I would much rather have someone touch their business in some way every day, every other day, than try to do it in a big chunk at the end of the week. I think that it's really hard to get any kind of momentum going in your business when you don't do anything for 5 days and then you try to jump back in again. So that for me was the consistency of effort, even if it wasn't a lot of effort. I felt, first of all, that if I had given someone information on Juice Plus and I told them I was going to follow up with them, that's kind of an integrity thing for me. Like, I told them I'm going to call, I better call. So that was, I was consistent with my follow-up. I was consistently out meeting new people and just fitting it in. I remember in the early days going to the playground with my other distributors that were moms, and we did a little training on the side of the park while the kids were all playing, because that's what worked for us at the time.
Absolutely.
So it was that kind of activity.
Yeah. So what, did you join any groups? I heard you say MOPS. I think that's a great place to meet other moms that also have the same fears of their kids being sick and things like that, or having to go back to work maybe, or.
Absolutely. Yeah. Finding groups you enjoy, I think is huge. Like now my kids are older, I still meet kids through their, people through their activities, their sports and stuff. But I've started taking cooking classes because I really like it, and I'm meeting people. So I love that about our business, is that, you get to go out and do what you love, do what you enjoy, and you meet people at the same time.
So right. So good.
Make new friends.
Yeah. Make new friends all the time. So does anybody have any questions that you're kind of just burning to ask? If so, go ahead and mute yourself and let's hear from you. Anybody?
Hi, I have some questions.
Yeah, Jamie.
So I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 3 babies. And I also don't have much time. So I'm kind of wondering, what do you do if you have 30 minutes of time during the day? What were the things that you would do? Would you just make phone calls? Or would you have people come to your house? Or because I know it's so challenging, because during nap time, you don't know if a kid's going to wake up, So I'm kind of wondering what kinds of things did you do in those stolen moments to really maximize your time and get to the next levels?
I really do like that 2x2x2 tracker. By 2, I think I forgot to. Because it kind of, and again, if you're newer, you're not going to have as much time working with your distributors because you may not have as many distributors, but you've been in the business for 4 years, did you say? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I would really be looking at allocating, dividing your time up and allocating, a portion towards new prospects. Where, what do you have on your calendar? Where are you going to be where you're going to be out meeting new prospects? Or maybe it's social media. Like, I didn't have social media, but I know a huge part of my team. I just have a gal who got to national marketing director in just over a year. She did a ton through social media. So, maybe that's it for you. And you can get on Facebook for half an hour and, contact people.
That was Lindsay, right?
That was Lindsay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had Lindsay, and the one thing, in case anybody missed Lindsay, is she used social media to open up a live conversation. It's not like she put a bunch of junk out there and hoped somebody ordered or joined her team.
No. Yeah, definitely not. But yeah, so allocate time for prospecting, basically. Then you want to, take a portion of whatever time you have available. You want to divide it up so that you're covering all of your bases. So prospecting, your customer, or following up with prospects, the ones you've already met. So that should be a chunk of your time. And then taking care of your customers. So, maybe it's a lunch date or a play date with someone who's a customer. Because I've had the majority of my distributors come out of happy customers. So if you're in relationship, especially if you have a customer that you would love to get on your team and you think they've had a good experience with the product, and you think, for whatever reason, they're passionate about health or they're a people person, whatever it is about them, you want to really develop that relationship. And so, spending some time there. And then distributor care and distributor training. So, maybe your team's not, especially if you're new there in Portland, big enough where you're having a lot of, potluck trainings, but maybe while the kids are napping, you can have distributors over and you can be coaching and training and helping them grow their business. And if the kids wake up during that time, well, no big deal. It's another distributor. They get it. So, and you know what? I never worried too much about that because honestly, especially if you're interacting with other moms, I think it models for them. But you can do this business as a mom. Anyone can do this business. And that's just part of the beauty of it is that, while your kid woke up, go deal with it and then get back in and finish the conversation or whatever. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Anybody else?
And I would just add to that, have fun. That's a huge, I've always done events and kind of sought out people that I want to spend more time with because they're fun. That's important to me that I'm having a good time in my business because I don't think that you can attract many people into your business if you're not really enjoying it. So keep that in mind with what you're planning.
That's good. I like that. Anybody else have a question? It can even be if you're not in the world of raising kids or you've already gone past that. Maybe it's questions about what's she doing now or whatever. Anybody else?
I'll ask another question.
Reagan, can you?
Oh, go ahead.
Is that Barbara?
Can you and Toni hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hi, Barb.
Yes.
And Jamie will come back to you.
Hey,
So we'll let Barb go. Go ahead, Barb.
Thank you. Toni, I was just wondering what sorts of events do you think were really key, like in your first 3 to 5 years as you went to sales coordinator, senior sales coordinator, went to NMD, like what events did you think were the most high value?
Back then, seems so long ago, it was definitely the wellness presentations. I mean, that's how we built our business then, was doing the wellness presentations. And getting people to the big events, which I think are still really key for building belief for your customers and for your distributors. So if you're in a market where you have a big speaker coming in periodically, I would highly encourage you to take advantage of that and get people to those events. But now what I'm seeing my team do is a lot more of just, Barbara, the smaller, whether it's one-on-one sharing Juice Plus, whether it's, starting a Facebook party, whether it's the salad in a jar. A lot of our team is going crazy with salad in a jar, and it's not really focused on Juice Plus at all, but the conversation comes up. The last one we did, we had bars out. Oh, these are yummy. That led right into the conversation about Juice Plus and how we're all about inspiring healthy living. So again, I think if you're doing events that are fun, that you're enjoying, they can be anything. And, and then I have people on my team who really would rather focus on the one-on-one. Like even Lindsay, she does more Facebook and one-on-one than anything else. She'll do some of the other events, but she says, her preference is to just meet someone for coffee and get them going. And it 9 times out of 10, because she's building that relationship, the business will come up as well, even if she's just meeting them to get them on T30 or T120.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Jamie, did you have another question?
I did, and I forgot what it was.
Well, let's ask you, how much T120, T30 are you guys doing in your business, do you think?
I would say we're probably doing 75% T30, T120.
You guys have seen huge growth from T120. Why do you think that is?
I think because people have amazing results, and that's, once they have that, they have faster, more significant results when they're doing the T30, T120 program. And then they go, people notice that, they're out sharing it, they're enthusiastic about it. And it is a kind of a positive cycle that will get people into. And, with T120, even if we kind of explain the products as a 4-month, like you're going to do 4 months of the products, but you can take any 30 days to do the rest of the program. So if that's too intimidating to start out, well, take the first 30 days to acclimate, to flood your body with all this nutrition and prepare it for the full-on detox, which then you would incorporate all the other parts of the program. And that works well too.
Yeah. That's good. But I love that you're doing the salad in the jar and other things too that, it creates something fun. But I think you got to mix it up a little bit. You got to keep yourself interested too.
Yep. And that's what's been fun about these salad in the jar, because it is definitely, I was getting bored of myself at wellness presentations. And I was like, if I'm bored of myself, I can't imagine what these people are thinking. So yeah, being creative and keeping it fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think we are out of time, but Toni, thank you so much. You guys, everybody, please, let Toni know. Thank you.
Thank you,
My
Toni.
pleasure. And, I forgot to mention earlier, Reagan, you had asked me about, the lifestyle component. I am going to Australia in a couple weeks, and I will be there for a month because of this business. And
oh yeah, we can't leave that out. That's so cool.
yeah, it's awesome. And one of my distributors on my team is Australian, and we're going down there to do some Juice Plus business in Australia, but then we're going to have a whole lot of fun. So half the time is work and half the time is fun. But again, you know what? It's this amazing business that allows you to do things like that. So, anything's possible.
Yeah, who else gets to go to Australia for a month and work a little, play a lot?
Yeah. Juice Plus
really.
wraps. That's
and write it off on top of that.
Write it off. I know. Does it get better than that?
Such a huge celebration. Love you so much. Thank you, you guys. And everybody have a great holiday. And we will catch you guys in a new year. So thank you. All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.